Worse than carbon? Well, nitrogen is even worse. Nitrogen in the atmosphere is 265 times the effects of
Nitrogen
carbon.
oxide.
Nitrogen oxide, that's the format that it appears when it's released into the atmosphere. It's also known as laughing gas. Known as laughing gas. This is what's going out into the atmosphere. And we are using nitrogen in all commercial farming. So this is SOS. We have to stop using practices and start doing things not in a non-monoculture way, in a way that allows not using pesticides, not using nitrogen, using natural processes that have worked for forever. We need the bees, as pollinators, we need the insects, and when you look at it, basically, the truth is it's all about the soil. The soil is one of the major components in this story, and it's
Amos, I just
yes,
want to add one thing about that last slide you showed.
yeah.
When I looked, I saw that and I looked, I was curious about what other gases might be really bad. And I found out that the winner of the gases for global heating is sulfur hexafluoride, which is like they actually use this stuff to inflate tennis balls with. And the gas
Oh,
that's in one tennis ball is equivalent to the CO2 a car puts out in 5 years.
no way.
Yes, it's like 13,000 times the CO2 equivalent or something. So maybe you don't get to 5 years there or whatever, but it's 13,000 times instead of like the
Wow.
265.
I did
Just
not know
amazing.
that. I did not know that.
They
Wow.
should kill all professional tennis players.
Well,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not they're
Yeah.
not to blame.
No,
What
I'm
they
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm pretty sure they're not aware. But holy fuck!
Yeah. It better not be going on. They better have stopped it.
I have a family member who is a keen tennis player. I can't wait to tell him.
Kill him, Amos. Kill him.
No, no. But basically, the true hero in the story is the soil, and we're 15% of the release of these greenhouse gases are improper handling of the soil in commercial agriculture and land management, deforestation, over-tilling, commercial fertilization, monoculture, and insecticide use. They're all causing the grounds to die. It is a living organism. It's not an exaggeration when they say that it is a living organism. It is literally something alive. It has bacteria, and I've been studying that in regards to my own little growing of vegetables and stuff in my yard. Permaculture is real. These insects are disposing from like dead plants. They break it down so that bacteria and fungus can get at them. Those in turn bring nutrients to the roots of plants and feed off sugars that the roots of plants provide to them in order to create this culture. It is a whole system. It's a whole system, and if you break that system, you end up with dry, infertile soil that erodes and gets swept into the oceans, and that's what has been going on en masse around the world, and this is also something very, very serious. And
It's called food industry, Amos.
that, well, it is yes, it's called food industry, and the point is that it needs to be somehow curtailed to start growing things responsibly, and we're far from that.
Yes.
But we have to start talking about this with our families, with our friends, and start putting the spotlight on this.
Yeah, this is a very interesting slide to me because a few years ago, I realized I didn't know what soil was. I didn't know what dirt was, and like, what's it made out of? And so I got into it myself, and it's fascinating. You have to have a biological system, an ecosystem that is going to build up a surplus of mostly digested organic material that's mixed into a matrix of minerals and the living organisms that you're talking about. And that gardeners, quickly, if you do any gardening, you're going to get into this, and the agriculture, that modern agriculture, we till, and when we till, we expose oxygen to the soil where it degrades. So we only have 60 years left. By current agricultural practices are causing the loss of 30 soccer fields every second, are being lost of arable land. And, in places like where I live, the climate is such that we can actually build soil pretty quickly. Like in my garden, I can till stuff in and it decomposes, and it rains enough that stuff grows right away. You could plow it back in. And so in our immediate area, soil degradation, through natural farming is not really as much of an issue. But in other places, it takes like 1,000 years to build up a third of an inch of it through natural processes. And what's happened is when the Midwest of the United States was settled, you had farmers coming in, and they plowed up the prairies, started tilling, and they basically, they had like several thousand years worth of natural buildup. And it's like everything else, the oil we've taken out of the ground that took forever to build up is just being mined and depleted. And I don't think most people really understand that our agriculture, the way it is, it's actually set up to be an extractive process like mining, and that it's not sustainable. And that's why people are always going on about permaculture and soil and stuff, because taking care of this and doing responsible agriculture, our kind of our lives kind of depend on it.
And
Yeah.
I put this slide in because there's always this debate, and people on the right say, well, why should the U.S. do it when China is not doing? Well, the U.S. is 4% of the world population. Its pollution is 15%. So well, we have some culpability in this, and we have to address it. And yeah, China, we have to make China do it too, but this is not an excuse for the U.S. not to do it. And there's people who would want us to go that route, and that's, I'm talking about the industry. We'll get to that in a
That's
minute.
another delay tactic.
So basically, in order to fix our problem, we need to start removing. We had to remove 40 billion tons of emission every year from now on until net zero, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
This is the Republicans covering their eyes and saying, "There, now it doesn't exist. Wow, it really works." And that's funny because the same opposite is being drawn in conservative media, and this is how they see it.
But the cartoonists should have also at the Democrats, because they are not serious in this game as well,
Right. Well, because
otherwise they would have done
correct
politics against it.
There are core people, core bunch of people who are the culprit in that, and we will get to that in the section we're going into. But this is how Republicans they look at the global climate change, and they think that it's a puff of air. Well, in this case, it's the capital, but I'm making a wider point here.
They see what they want to see.